Great. Good morning, everyone. It is 9:12 on my Bacardo Jewelers watch. And it is a beautiful Friday, September 19, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. I could prove it because we've produced great Americans like Charlie Kirk. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, thanks to our man John Basiliga and his great companies like Basiliga Hospitality and the pop-up market at the marketplace at Steamtown this weekend. They are William James, born Baltimore, but he was from Plymouth. Charles Berberich, Scranton. Edward Bill Roth, Taylor. David Graham, Orangeville. Michael Canty, Bloomsburg. Bernard Schultz, Benton. Veterans we lost but salute today. The United States of America, where our founding fathers were certain in the knowledge and understanding that government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. But it will be nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensured and codified freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny, those who formed this great country, created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. Well, this Bob Cordaro Show, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. And because of our commitment to common sense, I tell you that we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for you in a world, man, where an entire political party, the Democrats, has gone insane. And where their acolytes and handmaidens in the media, well, I don't know which is the handmaiden of which. They're just sick. They're literally mentally ill. Isn't it crazy? So we played a little montage of Charlie Kirk finishing up with the great Rush Limbaugh. Isn't it nice to know that they knew each other? Charlie Kirk and Rush Limbaugh. Now, I mentioned them, and then I've got to immediately mention a complete ass. All right? Jerry Greenfield. He and a guy named Ben Cohen, if those names sound familiar to you, they started Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream. Not bad ice cream, but they're two insane, stupid people. And Jerry just quit. I just apropos of nothing, I guess, except the left-wing lunatic mindset. He quit Ben and Jerry's. Now, they had sold to a huge conglomerate by the name of Unilever, a European company. And, yeah. This March 3rd, they got rid of the CEO, and they said they'd violated the merger agreement, all this other stuff. But he's had enough because he wanted independence on social issues, and it's been stifled. Now, he's got the same idiotic view of free speech in this country. I mean, it's childish about this Jimmy Kimmel thing. Like, so his speech was, no, your speech was not being stifled, you idiot. You could go and talk anywhere you want. The company didn't want you making an ass of yourself in their name. That's all. They didn't want you ruining sales of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, which they paid dearly for. Nobody, these idiots on the left, these media yappers, they don't know what the First Amendment is. And it reminds you of Tim Kaine. Remember we played this quote? He did not know that the founding fathers in the Constitution said that our rights were given to us by God. He said, that's by God, that's Iran, that's a theocracy. He didn't even know the Constitution. But he was publicly opining about something he had no idea what he was talking about. A United States senator, a vice presidential candidate. And now we have these idiots talking about Jimmy Kimmel like he's some civil rights leader. He was a failing comedian who became less and less funny because of his hatred for all things Donald Trump, all things MAGA, all things conservative. He was a hater. People don't, I say this often. I said it even when I was coming in here. Why do people, hang around with us? Whether you're radio, TV. It's because they like hanging around with you. And if you're a hater, which Jimmy Kimmel had become, which Stephen Colbert had become, they don't want to hang around with you anymore. And that's what, so two things happen. If you want to look at the ratings of the Jimmy Kimmel show, they were dropping like a rock before the Monday incident. And then he refused to apologize for the lie that he told, by the way. Refused. Like, he wanted the independents to be a lying hater. That's what he wanted. And they said, you know what? For $20-some million a year, and we've got Sinclair and Nexstar both saying he's got to apologize. No, I'm not apologizing. Oh, my gosh. So he refuses to apologize for lying. That it was a MAGA supporter who killed Charlie Kirk. And so the affiliate owners said, we're not airing the show anymore. We've had enough. And that was the substantial majority of ABC affiliates. So now the show wasn't going to air. It was failing anyway. And Disney, one of the wokest, most disgusting companies in the world, fired him. Well, they suspended him. They want the chance to bring him back so that they could be back in the good graces of the wokesters. Quite amazing. And they're calling that free speech. This is a violation of free speech. I just saw Chris Van Hollen, that idiot, from Maryland who was all over the Abrego Garcia thing on taxpayer money, went to Ecuador on our dime to meet with a criminal, an illegal alien criminal, to commiserate with him. Total fool. And so the same fool now is talking about free speech. Oh, free speech is being curbed. Who says, when did it become a constitutional right to be paid $20 million a year to hate 60% of the country? That's somehow a constitutional right. Oh, and ABC, by the way, Disney, according to these, I can't even believe the levels of stupidity. ABC, whether they like it or not, they've got to let Jimmy Kimmel spout his lying bile. He's got to spout his lying bile, and they got to pay him $20 million to do it because it's in the Constitution. It's unbelievable. I just, and they're talking about the Constitution, these people, as if they know what they're talking about. So I'll say this, the left, the leadership of the Democrat Party, and many, unfortunately, Democrats, they're divorced from truth, fact, and reality. But sadly, I think they're also dumb. I've never really been one of these, well, maybe as a young kid, one of these people who put people at elite colleges and universities, and like I went to Penn and I went to University of Rochester. I never put those people on a pedestal because the people back in Dunmore and Scranton and this area that went to high school and maybe didn't even finish that were always smarter than them. So I always knew they were dumb. But those that have gone to the left are actually dumb. It's quite amazing. Oh, sad. Ben and Jerry's. They're all the same. They're all the same. Dumb. Zero self-awareness. And they have literally no relationship with facts, truth, or reality. And the fact and the truth issue, that's what got Jimmy Kimmel. Because he didn't know what it was. He didn't know what facts were. He didn't know what truth was. And now he's suspended indefinitely. Wow. I don't know. You think, see, that there's where the self-awareness comes in. Wait a minute, my ratings are in the toilet. Nobody's watching. They continue to plummet. The two biggest station groups in the country have rebelled against a massive lie that I told. And yet I can't gather enough self-awareness. I can't touch fact, truth, and reality to admit that I lied on national television in something that was not even close to being a joke. Holy cow. Oh, but the Constitution's under assault. We'll take a break and be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our man, John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. We're on the weekend, so you can't forget the Old Brook Inn, Far Street Tavern, Queen City Tavern, Oliphant. And then Sergei's the nightclub, full swing tonight. First run movie, Scranton Art House, Lackawanna Avenue, Scranton. And for the finest of fine dining anywhere, a Terra 519 Scranton, Stegmeyer Mansion, Wilkes-Barre. Edward Bill Roth, survived by his best friend and devoted wife of 36 years, Deborah Lenko Roth. We lost him September 11th. Born in East Stroudsburg, proud graduate of East Stroudsburg High School. He went on to serve this country honorably in the United States Air Force. After completing his military service, Bill attended Hartford Airline School and later dedicated 35 years to East Stroudsburg University as a purchasing agent. He was a respected member of the Pocono Lodge, of the Masons, and Cresco. Faithful parishioner of St. George Orthodox Church in Taylor, that beautiful building on Kaiser Avenue. Known for his ever-present smile and kindness, Bill was a true gentleman, his family says. He was especially proud to see his family grow through 4 generations, a legacy he held close to his heart. In addition to his wife, Bill is survived by his son, grandson, and great-grandson. Bill Roth. Charles Berberich, Scranton. He was 75 when he passed September 11th. He's survived by his beloved wife of 48 years, Karen. He was born in Scranton, graduate of the great Scranton Technical High School, and proudly served us in the United States Navy during the Vietnam War. Prior to retirement, he gave another life worth of service as a fireman for the Scranton Fire Department, where he was known as the Iron Lieutenant, a mentor and leader for generations of future firefighters. Everyone who met Charlie was soon his friend. He was forever looking out for everyone else before himself. In addition to his wife, also surviving are his son and many, many, many family members. Charles Berberich. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and breezy, 76 degrees. It is 65 outside the studio right now. Tonight, clear and cooler, 48. Saturday, mostly sunny, 76. Sunday, mostly sunny, 73 degrees. This song would be revolutionary on the left today. Love and marriage? Wow, that's outrageous. Senator Rand Paul before that. Again, we accept these things without any basis. It's just because that's the way it is. That's not science in any way, shape, or form. Thank you, RFK, for blowing up the CDC. Really. And that's Frank Sinatra. Murph says this date, 1955. He sang his hit Love and Marriage on the Producer's Showcase production of the play Our Town. Bob Cordaro back with you. Pastor Mitch checking in. His message is this: God bless you, Bob. And I always respond, he has. God bless the veterans, he says. God bless the USA LTS. Pastor Mitch. Somebody takes in, Bob, when I was a child in the 50s, we watched The Wonderful World of Disney on TV. Walt Disney would speak a bit and introduce the program. I remember that so well. This man's name was always associated with family and goodness. And he was not a perfect human, we'll say this. But the listener continues. Now, when I hear his name, I want nothing to do with them for their various holdings, including Disney World. I wonder what Walt would think of his legacy, LTS. I know. It was supposed to be about wholesome family values, Disney, and they've perverted it into woke insanity. I keep telling you, when I saw this, I'm going, this can't be real. That is the mustachioed princess taking little girls around. Like, no, no, no. Unbelievable. The only thing we have to fight this, thank God, is that they're not that bright. I mean, if you're completely wrong about everything, you can't be that bright. You really can't be. You could be clever. You could be glib. You could be loquacious. But you can't be that smart if you don't understand reality. That's the only thing we have, because man, they're in the control rooms of so many institutions, from the media to academia to government to public service unions to foundations to nonprofits and NGOs. Yeah. They're in danger. They're in dangerous places. The key for us is to not accept idiocy and to call it out. The emperor has no clothes. You're familiar with that story. The emperor has no clothes. These people are idiots. Barack Obama, he has become an idiot. If he, maybe he always was. But now that he thinks he could let loose, we're like, wow, he's not that bright. No wonder, and people forgot this, no wonder, no matter the public engagement he was at, he had to have a teleprompter. Do you remember that about him? He's not that bright. And it's what is, unfortunately. And I watch him speak now, and he's got a complete separation from self-awareness, from truth, fact, and reality. I just watch him. And it's sad. And I said, man, that was a guy, you know, I admired him at one time. I said, well, he was the guy I was really against him. But at least he was, but there's no more of that. These people devolve If that's where you live, you devolve into much less than people perceive you to be, much less than you get credit for. Mr. Paul, by the way, pointing out, when we're talking about God-given rights, I combine the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and but they were God-given rights. They were acknowledged as such. All of these things. And they don't understand. These people do not understand. They're not smart enough to understand. Just remember that. They're not 10 feet tall. All we have to do is vote. All common sense people have to do is go out and vote. We could overcome the Democrat vote. We could overcome the mental illness in the leadership of the Democrat Party. And we could keep the country going strong. Our best days could be ahead of us. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. There's a guy named Brad Lander. He's the comptroller of New York City. He's a Jewish American. I don't think there's a bigger fool. I think he's like really in the elite of idiots. He's not only a Jew who campaigning for Mondami. Now he just got arrested at an ICE facility. I guess they're doing it again. Protesting against law enforcement, but that's what the left does. That's what today's Democrat Party does. Wow. Just absolutely awful. Now, let's talk about the left, okay? And we've got our trolls, you know that. We've got a lot of Democrats listen. And the vast majority of them are normal, common sense people, and all of that. But here's one of them. When I think family values, I immediately think of our great leader, Donald Trump. He will bring back the wholesale values, I think you mean wholesome, values he has lived by. He isn't just going after Kimmel because Kimmel insults him nightly. Long live our dictator. Now, please tell me, why doesn't Donald Trump, as President of the United States, why doesn't he have the right to free speech? That's number one. Number two, what rights to free speech has Jimmy Kimmel lost? That's about right. Nothing. He can go speak all he wants. He's just not going to get $20 million a year to lie. ABC's not going to lose money on his program so Jimmy Kimmel can lie and indulge himself in fantasy. But wait a minute. Donald Trump doesn't have freedom of speech? My God almighty. Two corporations make decisions based upon money, which is their job. And they're not allowed to do so. In other words, for Jimmy Kimmel, because he's at a much higher plane than all the rest of us, I'm not entitled to these airwaves. Odyssey, the company that owns WILK Radio, they're entitled to them. They have the license. ABC and Disney has the television license, not Jimmy Kimmel. So if I get fired from here, I can speak all I want, as much as I want, wherever I want, or wherever they'll let me. My free speech would not be affected. My right to free speech, my constitutional rights. So I said they're not that bright. They're so desperate in pursuit of their agenda and their lies that they miss facts, truth, and reality. Jimmy Kimmel could say anything he wants, starting today. And by the way, I'll bet he'd have a lot of people listening. What did he lose? And Trump used his free speech rights to say he was low talent, which I disagree with. I think he had a lot of talent. He was just blinded by sickness, mental illness. Crazy. Hey, I didn't get to it yet. The Kamala Harris book, and our friend Bill from Pittston it reminded me of it. It is hilarious, is it not, Bill? Are you there, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're on.
Oh, caught me off guard there. Yeah, Bob, I was listening to what you said. So, I was reading the excerpts of Kamala's book where she says that Joe called her a couple hours before the debate and said that his brother and some other big contributors were going to help her out because she was saying bad things about Joe. And he said, kind of a hint, don't make any difference between my policy and your policy, or you're cooked. And she couldn't understand why he did this hours before the debate.
Yeah, because like all left-wing lunatics, they're narcissists. And so it is all about her. And Joe Biden, it was all about him. So
the other interesting, that Plouffe guy, he told Kamala that everybody hated Joe Biden.
Well, let me say this, Bill. Remember, Kamala Harris is mentally ill. Joe Biden, mentally ill and demented. So where the truth can be found with these people, I have no idea. I really don't. Like I read excerpts from her book, which has got to be completely vapid. I read excerpts, and it's like, I can't believe what she's saying is actually true. It's an experience she may have made up in her mind, but it may not have happened.
Yeah, I ordered the book, so you'll be getting that. And the thing is, if you're going to understand an idiot, you got to read what an idiot writes.
Mm-hmm. But again, she's a delusional person, Bill. She the thing she's saying, she may have convinced herself that they happened, but that doesn't mean that they did.
No, but what's interesting is the infighting that wasn't revealed. It's phony that we're all united. There was a deep hatred between them. That's the dynamic I want to see, that what's going on and how they're full of crap. That when they talk about that, they're looking at Jill hated Kamala, Kamala hated Jill. You know, it just, that's the underlying thing
Jill,
I want to read.
Jill hated Kamala because of how she made Joe into the racist that he was at one of those first Democrat debates for 2020. Yeah, when she called him out as a racist, that was it for Jill, and they never got back together.
Yeah, the wheels on the bus go round and round. I'm sure that was Kamala's favorite song when she was a kid.
Somebody texted in, Bill. They said her book is 4 pages and it's a picture book.
That would be sophisticated for her.
I know it. Bill, thank you, my man. Appreciate it. I look at my Bacardo's watch, and guess what? It tells me it's 10:01 and change. But I want to remind you, if you want jewelry, this is your store. And they've been around forever. There's a reason they've been around forever. There's a reason they've been around 3 generations. Because they're good at what they do. And then when it comes to watches, I've got the Bacardo Jewelers watch. It says Bacardo right across the top. I love it. But they sell Raymond Weil, Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, Tory Burch, Victorinox, and more. Great stuff. Bacardo Jewelers. They tell me it's time for the news, so I will oblige. We'll be back after that. Great good morning, everyone. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:09 a.m. here in the great Northeast. This beautiful, what is it, Friday? Friday, September 19th, 2025. I can't believe how this time flies. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. It's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group, like Charles Berberich, Scranton, Bill Roth, Stroudsburg, but he worshiped in Taylor, William James, Baltimore, but he lived in Nanticoke, Bernard Schultz, Benton, Michael Canty, Bloomsburg, and David Graham, Orangeville. So with history, our founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in the face of total insanity on the left and, sadly, in the Democrat Party. And I tell you, I look for people to vote for that are Democrats. I actually look. And it's just getting more and more difficult. Mother Teresa. Let's go right to her. Now, I missed yesterday. I don't know how. Mary Regina, she was very, she was hinting, and I didn't get to it. But here's September 18th, Mother Teresa. Confess your sin and be finished with it. God's mercy is greater than your sin. Don't be afraid, scrupulous, or anxious. You are a sinner full of sin when you go to confession, and when you come out, you are a sinner without sin. But always, before everything else and after everything else, you are a child of God, says St. Teresa. And that was yesterday. Now today, for September 19th, she says, what are you hiding? What do you do in secret? Doing things in secret, hiding, these things are the beginning of lying. Well, I don't know if that's the case for the Democrats, but I'm sure. But so when we go to Mother Teresa, to another lovely woman who's in our studio, and a rare studio appearance, but Trish Bynum. Trish, welcome. She is the Republican candidate for mayor of the city of Scranton. So great to see you, Trish.
Oh, thank you very, very much for having me here. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We've had some great conversations through the spring and primaries over the summer, and now we're really in the midst of it. You had a press conference last week on the steps of City Hall, very appropriately so. But by the way, I'll bet you couldn't get in City Hall.
I couldn't get in City Hall, so I had to stay on the steps. I had no option.
The mayor, many names, has it locked up. You can't get in.
She has it locked up for her own personal interests.
Yes.
It's sad, but it is what it is, you know. But I couldn't get in to talk to her, so I said, I'm just going to do it on the steps. She probably wasn't there anyway.
Tell us what you said at City Hall last week.
Well, to boil it down, my most important aspect that I want to get across to everyone is that our current mayor is seeking another position for Congress in the 8th Congressional District. So she is not giving 100% of her time to the city of Scranton taxpayers. That's obvious.
By the way, that might be a good thing. The less she does, the less
damage. The less damage. But what really fries me is that she's getting paid to do her job, a full-time job, but she's not doing the work of a full-time mayor. So why are the city of Scranton taxpayers paying her salary when she's out in Pike County, Wayne County, on MSNBC, doing everything else but focusing on the city of Scranton? It's terrible.
I don't think there could be any justification. And they point out that Stacey Garrity, and I listened to her on the morning show with an interview, and they just went along with it, which is insane in and of itself. Stacey Garrity is not running for another office while she's running for another office. This is unprecedented. I've never really seen it before.
Yeah, I think it's embarrassing to the city of Scranton anyway, and I don't think that they definitely shouldn't compare the two, because there is absolutely no comparison between those two. It's a disgrace what she's doing, and she's trying to cover it up by trying to put it off on other people. It's her problem. She should be focused on us and not on someone else.
One of the things that I continually point out, and again, if you're going to be a left-winger, and she's a left-wing lunatic, she's all in on the entire agenda from the border, no matter how she lies about it now, to the transgender, all of it. And she says that she decided, like just recently, that she had to run for Congress. She hired someone to be her publicist for her congressional run last year.
Exactly.
She's lying to people as though they're stupid, and apparently some people won't care.
They won't care, and I don't understand that, because why would you pay somebody if they're not going to stay their full term? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And she should have dropped out way before the primary, when she was asked during the debate and before and after the debate whether or not she was going to run for another congressional district or any other political office. She didn't even answer. That in itself is a lie. She should have, stood up for the people and said, "Look, I'm not going to be here for you. I'm stepping down, and I'm going to give someone else a chance to run for mayor and take care of the city." She didn't do it. She flat out, by doing that was a lie.
Well, all you have to do is drive the streets.
Yes.
Or go up to Naog and see piles of dirt where the James Walsh swim complex used to be, and you realize this is an incompetent.
This is an incompetent. All she's worried about is putting those little splash pads up. She has no interest in anything else, and every time she says that she has accomplished something, if you look at the whole scheme and you focus on the bigger picture, she hasn't accomplished anything. The roads are a mess. Taxes are high. People are worried they're going to be out of their homes because they can't afford to stay there. It's an embarrassment what she's doing. But when she talks on MSNBC or wherever she speaks, or she has her other girl talking for her, she doesn't say that. She makes herself sound much more important than she is. We're a stepping stone. She is abandoning the city of Scranton. Bottom line, I hope that the people of the city of Scranton see that, and they do the right thing, because it's never going to do us any good if we just keep her. The only reason why she's doing that is to get a name recognition so she can move on to her next step.
Crime in Scranton is beyond anything I've seen, it beyond a level I've seen. And that's from our own cops getting shot and beyond.
I know.
There's no focus there, and she's got that left wing, the criminals are oppressed. In fact, she posed with two criminals.
I saw.
With her own child at an opening of their front business.
Exactly. Now, I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything, with your eyes should be wide open to that one. But crime is 82% higher in the city of Scranton. She said that she has more cops on the beat, but yet she's anti-union, so she's not really working with the police force. And wherever she has the police right now, I don't know where they are. God love them. They're hard workers. I feel for them, but I don't think that she's really working with the police force. I think that's just something that she's saying to get through so people think she's doing her job. She's not doing her job.
Trish Bynen's our guest. She's running for mayor in the city of Scranton against Mayor Many Names. Another thing is, we've had 9 months of negotiations on the DPW contract, and I love those guys. They come by, we play stick out your can, here come the garbage man every day. They take away what you don't want. I just love them. But she's not letting them do their jobs, because we've got this crazy consultant contract telling them how to do what they're already doing, but we're paying for it. And there's no DPW head. We're paying tens of thousands in legal fees for a contract that hasn't come to fruition.
Exactly. Now, what she's doing, I just was speaking to them over at the La Festa. We just had a little get-together. I was speaking with a lot of the DPW workers, fantastic people, hard workers, and they said the same thing. They have been working 9 months without a contract. Every single time they try to negotiate, she doesn't show up. They cancel the meeting. This has been going on for 9 months. These people are paying way too much in health care. With the little raise that they got, came back out of their pockets with the overpriced health care coverage that they're paying. They're not getting treated fairly. I see it. I heard it. I feel bad for the guys. Just listening to them, and they have all these issues and these problems, and she's just blowing them off, not paying any attention to them. They deserve better. And again, anti-union to the extreme. At least work with unions and non-union people. Everybody should be treated fairly. She's not doing that.
Trish Bynum, our guest, candidate for mayor of Scranton. Trish, tell me about yourself. Tell us about yourself, and then what led you to run for mayor.
Okay, well, I've been living in Scranton about 33 years, and I have a daughter I raised here. I work here in Scranton. And about maybe 5 years ago, my daughter's, she went to a public high school, and she said how much it has changed over the years. And she was worried. Walking to school, walking back from school, crime was a big issue with us. We had a break-in at our house once, so we had some problems with that. And with her moving out of the area, it really opened my eyes. She said, Mom, I wish you would move out of the area. I don't feel safe with you here. She left the area. And it got me thinking, somebody needs to step up and do something for the betterment of the city. And if it's not me, who's it going to be? So I went ahead and I put my name in my hat in the ring, and I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make City of Scranton better. I don't care what political spectrum you're on. I'm going to be here to work for the people of Scranton, everyone, and I want them to know that I'm out there for them. I'll be approachable. I'll be honest, which we really need in leadership is honesty.
Oh, yeah.
I'll show up, and I'll unlock the doors to City Hall. I'm going to be that person that they wish they had 10, 15 years ago. I'm going to be a better option for the city of Scranton. I feel it. I know I could do it. I have the education behind me. I have knowledge behind me, and I know I could do it. And right now, and I'm not going anywhere. This isn't a stepping stone. I'm here for the people, and I'm staying my full term. I'm not looking for anything else, another avenue, or maybe she wants to one day become, God knows, vice president or something. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
Trish Bynum, let's talk practicality. She's got a ton of money coming from out of town.
Yep.
And I don't mean just Lackawanna County. I'm talking about from.
I saw
a $500 contribution from Austin. It's
right.
the whole left-wing lunatic fundraising scam, and it has nothing. They could care less what happens in Scranton.
That's the truth. She hasn't cared about what's happening in Scranton. We are like an object in her rearview mirror. That's what I see when I see her. She does not care about us. She's already 1 foot out the door already. She's gone. All she needs to do is finish these few months up, hopefully if she gets back in, which we all hope she doesn't at this point, if she does get back in as mayor, it's just going to be a short-term process, and it's going to look like a feather in her cap, so she could use that as a title to move on to the next step in her life. It's not right.
Well, she's also going to be campaigning
And she's
full-time
campaigning.
instead of running for
Right.
and being the mayor.
So who's in charge then? Who's going to be in charge? Who's there right now? Where is she? What county is she in right now? Where is she? Is she on another radio station or TV channel? Where is she? She needs to be focused on what the city of Scranton needs. Right now, the city's a mess. They need somebody to help out, and she's not doing it.
Well, Trish, you got a game plan. Are you doing door to door? What have you been doing? I know you're going to start hitting the media, the airwaves.
Yes, I have been doing that, and we're doing tons of door knocking. We're having events. Actually, this Sunday, coming at from 2 to 5 o'clock up at the Tiki Bar at the Waldorf, we're going to be having an event. You guys can meet me if you want. Ask me any questions. I have nothing to hide. I'll be there to listen to anybody that wants. Feel free to stop up. It's going to be a nice time. We have a band. We have food. That's coming up, and I'm out there talking to the people. There's events in the city I'm attending, and I'm just letting people know I'm out there. I'm for you, and if you need anything, just ask. That's what my job is. If you're a mayor, you're working for the city of Scranton. You're working for the people, and that's what your job is. If you're getting paid to do it, show up.
That's not much.
Not much to ask.
Not too much to ask. Trish Bynum, thank you very much for stopping in. I appreciate it.
Thank you very, very much.
Your bodyguard he's getting impatient.
He's back on work mode. He said, we got to go.
Listen, I thank you for doing it. I thank you for running, too.
Oh, thank you.
We need it. We need new leadership. We need to get away from this I don't even know what to call her, but we need to get away from this incompetence.
Yeah, you need somebody who really wants to be here for everyone and the people of Scranton, and I want that. For my own sake. I live in Scranton. I know how bad it is. I want people to know that I'm there for them. I see what they see, and I'm for everybody. I'm not worried about, like I said, the political spectrum part of it. I'm going to work for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trish Bynum, candidate for mayor, City of Scranton. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Dean Martin, #1 easy listening charts hit this date, 1964. Everybody loves somebody. And before that, Bruno Hauptmann, arrested in New York, charged with the kidnap and murder of the Lindbergh baby. This is 1934. Oh, it was a national story like we experienced today. A couple of comments regarding Trish Bynen's stop here. Paige Cognetti runs for mayor, wins, and then hires and pays on our dime a panel of advisors to tell her what to do as mayor while running for Congress. Unbelievable. How does Scranton survive? Well, you got to get out and vote against Mayor Many Names. You've got to get out and vote against her. And that's everybody. You live here. Don't you care about the city? Don't you care about your own self-interest? You're going to blindly vote Democrat? I don't get it. Joe from Trips Park says, do we see Paige living here 20 years from now? No. She knows it, and we know it. This stint has been nothing more than an overpaid internship, and not for the job here at that. I know it. Crazy stuff. Hey, let's go to Ed from Berwick. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Oh, Mr. Cordaro, LTS to you.
LTS back at you, brother.
I'm a longtime veteran. Saw a lot of wars. The bodies pile up. We put up a white flag and go home. That's the new way now. So,
not you. You don't have a white flag in your house.
No, true. If I do, I have to hide it. I'm a Democrat. However, I am a Dan Flood Democrat.
Okay.
You get what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Back when we had a party. It went away. Okay, I have a question for all the liberal Democrats out there. Where are our two heroes of 9/11, Hillary Clinton and George Clooney? Remember their comment? What did we do to make these people hate us so much? It's our own fault. Remember that?
Yes.
So, well, I don't see them. They don't dare say it about Charles Kirk, do they?
No.
They disappear. The mouth shuts. So, I have one final comment. We'll keep this thing short and sweet. My opinion about the whole 9/11 business, we messed up there. In my opinion, what should have been done was September 11th, the towers came down in New York. September 12th, America should have turned Mecca into glass. No more problem. It worked in Tokyo. It worked in Berlin. You don't win wars by throwing candy to the babies and giving the enemy money.
Well, Ed, instead, what we're doing is we're electing Islamists, not Muslims, Islamists. 4 different cities in Jersey, Dearborn, Michigan. The mayor just told a Christian minister he's not welcome here in Dearborn. It's bad. These are not good people.
And in 1946, we would have been electing Bushido Knights and Nazis. But we cut the head off the snake. I still say, until we turn Mecca into glass, we'll always have a problem. With that, I say, take the hill, you fellow veterans, and it's good talking to you.
Oh, pleasure,
Goodbye,
Ed. Thank
Mr.
you.
Cordaro.
Thank you. A more radical cuckoo. Look it's important to note, and it's like all of the groups we talk about, the people who are practicing Muslims, they are not Islamists. They're willing to live and let live with us. They're willing to follow their own consciousness, their own way of life within our system. The Islamists, not so. They intend fully, and they state it outright, they intend to fully destroy this country, and the liberalism, not the left-wingism, the liberalism, meaning accepting of others, others' religions, others' lifestyles, they will not accept it. Please be clear on that. We take a break. We'll come back. Veterans Tribute, then more of your phone calls. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by John Basiliga. And it's a Friday, so we'll feature just one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. Well, these are my favorite places to go. They just are. You want to talk bar restaurant where you get everything from gravy fries to a great steak? The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Queen City Tavern, Main Drag Oliphant. Far Street Tavern. Cutie was there last night on Far Street, the Trips Park section of West Scranton. Fine dining, the finest, the best. Terra 519 Linden Street, downtown Scranton. The Stegmaier Mansion, South Franklin Street, Wilkes-Barre. Sergei's the nightclub. The nightclub. It'll be hopping this weekend. And the Scranton Art House. I'm going to the movies this weekend. That'll be where I go. Lackawanna Avenue, Scranton. William Bill James. We lost him August 14th. He was born in Baltimore, Maryland, but grew up in Nanticoke. He graduated from Nanticoke High School, very active in the sports world, co-captain of his high school basketball team, and placed the Nanticoke Rams on the map, scoring over 1,000 points. He was a forward on the 1961 Nanticoke High School State Championship team. Inducted into the Luzerne County Hall of Fame. Honored on the Greater Scranton Area High School Wall of Fame. Bill enlisted in the U.S. Army November of 1966, the height of the Vietnam War. He served as a military policeman at Walter Reed Army Medical Center for 2 years. He finished up in 1968 as Specialist 4th Class. He was in private industry for 30 years and later a security officer for the city of Wanacue, New Jersey. Bill met his beloved wife, Anna, in 2004 while serving on jury duty and hadn't taken his eyes off her since that day. They'd been married for 21 years. Bill was the middle child of 5. Grew up Catholic, but eventually baptized as a Seventh-day Adventist. He continued to grow in Christ, his family says, with each passing day. He's survived by his wife, Anna, stepsons, grandkids, and other family members. Bill James. Bernard Schultz, Navy veteran, long career in education. He was 94 when we lost him September 11th. He was from Benton. Born in Bloomsburg, he's survived by his loving wife, Janice, with whom he shared 67 years of marriage. 1949 graduate of Bloomsburg High School. He then graduated from Bloomsburg State Teachers College, 1958. He also attended Drexel and got his Master's of Education from Bucknell. He served this country in the U.S. Navy for 4 years during the Korean conflict. Bernard worked in education most of his life. Math teacher, principal at Berwick Area School District, superintendent of schools at Benton Area School District. He was a high school principal there as well. Fondly remembered by many students as an excellent teacher with a stern yet caring disposition. Active member of the Benton United Methodist Church, where he served as a lay leader. And later years, he attended the Benton United Presbyterian Church. Member of the Knapp Lodge of the Masons in Berwick and the Caldwell Consistory of Bloomsburg. He was a barbershop chorus guy. In addition to his wife, Janice, he's survived by 3 children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Bernard Schultz. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group. Storm Tracker 16 forecast. Meteorologist Joe Snedeker tells us today, sunny and breezy, 76. Tonight, clear and cooler, 48. Saturday, mostly sunny, 76. Sunday, mostly sunny, 73. Great early fall weather. Never fails to make me laugh and never fails to brighten my day. Our man, Peter Delaporta, the Pie Man cometh. How are you, Peter?
Robert, how are you? Happy Friday on this gorgeous day and the final day of summer.
Yeah, it feels like fall. It feels like fall.
Summer flew by, didn't it?
It did. Well, that means it's the Eagles. Well, talk to me, Pie Man. What do we got?
Well,
now, by the way, your man, the weekend warrior, Sid Hallinan, he didn't want to make a pick on this week's Eagles game.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say when I looked at their schedule, Bob, and I think we talked about it our first. Analysis this year. I looked at their schedule and I crossed this off, Bob. This is the toughest game of the season. You know, the Rams are headed back to Philadelphia for a rematch of the closest game of the Eagles' 2024 NFL playoff run, where they lost 22-28. It was a tough game. It could have gone either way.
Well, what's going to happen in this year's edition?
Well, Coach, Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the league, and he always really does his homework for this game and matches the Eagles, all of their strengths and weaknesses, and plays a really good has a really good game plan. The Titans have the best receivers in the league, with Devontae Adams and Puka Nakata. And Matthew Stafford's the quarterback. They've had 408 yards in 2 games. While the Eagles are really struggling, Bob, in their passing game. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert got a combined 104 yards. And Hurts hasn't thrown a ball. He's only had three passes over 10 yards this season.
But he's completing 70% of his passes, Pie Man.
Yeah. And he's had no turnovers, which is good too. So, I mean, he's playing very conservative. But, against a team like the Rams, you got to put that ball in the air. You got to stretch out that defense, and put some points on the board.
Well, let's get right to the prediction, Pie Man. What's going to happen Sunday?
44 and a half points over under. The Eagles are 3.5 points favorite. And I have the Eagles are going to push themselves into another victory, 26-24.
In your way, you go right out on a limb with the Eagles.
Right? Yeah, it's going to be close, but I think, like I said, they're going to push their way into victory.
All right. I'm excited for it. 26-24 says the Pie Man.
Game. It should be good, and I'm headed up to it, and I'm definitely going to Gino's Steaks beforehand for cheesesteak.
Love it. The Pie Man. The Pie Man cometh. The Pie Man speaketh. And now the Pie Man goeth. Thank you, my man. Always a pleasure,
thank you,
brother.
Bob. What a great show.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, my friend.
Okay, you too. He'll be at the Eagles game. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll return. Tons of great songs today. The Animals, #1 hit this date, 1964. Their hit, House of the Rising Sun. Bob Cordaro back on WILK. Somebody text in, what a shocker. Who would have thought the Pie Man would say the Eagles would win on Sunday? Bob K says, Bob, is the Pie Man gone? Can I turn the radio back on? I'm an Eagles hater. He says LTS, though. He loves the show. Well, the Pie Man's the Pie Man. Come on. Then another says, the Eagles could have Stevie Wonder as a quarterback, all the receivers quadriplegics, Joe Biden calling both the offensive and defensive plays, and the Pie Man will have the Eagles winning by at least a touchdown. No, he only had them win by 2. He only had them winning by 2. Oh, Lordy. Hey, the House just voted for a resolution honoring Charlie Kirk. 95 Democrats voted against it. What's the damage here? 95 Democrats. 58 voted no, and another, 37 voted present. What disgraceful people. What disgraceful people. Somebody asked, do you have any news of any kind about the shootings and killings in the Annunciation Church in Minneapolis a few weeks ago? No, I do not. They're not going to cover it. It was a left-wing lunatic. It's over. They don't care. You will have no media follow-up on this story. None. I know the injured and the wounded are recovering. Do you see what they do? As soon as it goes against their narrative, attack. Hey, let's go to Mike from Bloomsburg. Thanks for your patience, Michael.
Oh, you're welcome, Robert. Hey, real quickly, I believe that cultures slowly collapse and then all of a sudden collapse.
Yep.
I think that's what history shows. And I think most people are busy with their lives trying to, make a living, raise their families or whatever, and they're not paying attention to this fact of life. And I'm watching MSNBC and CNN now mainly. I don't watch Fox because I think I generally believe in what they're pushing. So I want to know what the other half of the country's believing. And it's
Don't give them credit for a half. Don't give them a credit for a half. Their ratings show that's not true.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, if you listen to what they're saying and then you listen into the the news at the top, at the bottom, the hour, on many places, it's all the same. And just to give you one example, a letter was written in our local paper here by a local woman who seems pretty sharp. And basically, she was talking about the gerrymandering situation in Texas, okay, where they want to redistrict.
Yep.
And what she said matched perfectly what CNN and MSNBC says, that it's Trump's attack on democracy to steal your vote. Now, that sounds pretty damning and pretty serious.
Dear God.
But they leave out the fact that, number one, both sides do the same thing. And number two, the Supreme Court has ruled on gerrymandering several times, and they keep changing it a little bit to kind of adapt it. The Constitution's a living document, blah, blah, blah. And, so it happens. It's real. Both sides are doing it. But to take that one issue, blow it up in flames, and say that it's Trump attacking democracy. That's the new meme.
Well, they're insane. These people, they're seriously insane. Let's just talk, and we have to go because it's 11 o'clock, but let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel's free speech, okay, and Trump's, what free speech? He didn't allow free speech when Mark Levin came out with a book. He didn't allow Mark Levin on his show. He didn't allow any conservatives on his show. He didn't allow free speech, but now he wants it and his acolytes want it. My God. These people are insane.
The guy from Fox that got canned, I can't remember his name.
Tucker?
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
When Tucker Carlson got canned, it was because the Republicans, not the Republicans, the Democrats wanted to not. I'm not saying that's because.
Jimmy Kimmel cheered when he got canceled.
Exactly.
I mean,
and they both
that's
said
what I'm saying. These people are phony beyond imagination and dumb, frankly.
It's what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. It's just nuts with them, and that's my concern. That we're going to let this thing slip away because so many people have the wrong idea. And I'll be honest with you, Bob. I can't believe the last election was as close as it was. When you look at Kamala Harris and the other guy that was running with her.
Look at her book. She is a complete flaming Dumbo. My God.
How would you like to work for CBS when they had to cover up how bad she was?
I don't know.
You know that's your organization.
I got to give credit to the person who edited her interview and somehow came up with something intelligent. That was a feat.
Yeah, that was something. Yeah.
Dear Lord. Hey, we got to go, but thank you always.
Okay, you take care now. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Michael. We've got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, because my Cordaro Jewelers watch, and it's not a Raymond Weil. It's not Breitling. It's not Oris. It's not Longines. It's not Michelle. It's not Shinola. It's not Luminox. It's not Swiss Army. It's not Seiko. It's not Tory Burch. It's not a Victorinox. It's a Cordaro Jewelers watch, and it tells me it's 11:03 on the nose. We got to go to the news. We'll be back. We got Kalen Deese from the Washington Examiner. We'll be back shortly. Great good morning, everyone. My Ricardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:10 a.m. here in the great Northeast this beautiful Friday, September 19, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we lost this year, but salute today thanks to John. Bill James, Baltimore via Nanticoke. Charles Berberich, Scranton. Bill Roth, he was from Stroudsburg, worshipped in Taylor. Bernard Schultz, Bloomsburg, Benton. Michael Canty, Bloomsburg. And David Graham, Orangeville. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you a sanctuary of sanity for the balance of this hour. Had a great afternoon yesterday afternoon. Our little garage gang, which sprung from the days when I was on noon to 3, had replaced Rush Limbaugh after his tragic passing. And Paul Poppy was there, Joey Amendola, Mark Wozniak, Billy Koval, Bobby Agostini, and a special guest, Mike Keppick. It was crazy. I brought Chauncey down. We had a good afternoon. Good afternoon. Keppick brought his dog, but a great time had by all. Hey, Kalen Deese. He's the Department of Justice reporter at the Washington Examiner. We've had him on a number of times, and we've got subjects to talk to him about. They're wide-ranging. The investigation into Tyler Robinson and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The DOJ investigation, which was disclosed, of conservative groups under Joe Biden, of groups like Turning Point USA. And then of the recent testimony of Jeff Zients, the former chief of staff to Joe Biden, on the auto pen insanity. And here he is, Kalen Deese, Washington Examiner. Welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show.
Bob, thanks so much for having me on. Good Friday. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Such a conversation we're going to have. There's so much happening, right?
Oh, my gosh. You know what? I'm jealous of you that you're right in the middle of it, but it makes me exhausted thinking about how much you have to cover.
Well, it's a Rolodex that you have to kind of brush up on every now and then, but it helps to kind of cycle through these stories as these stories continue and the leads progress. You kind of it becomes a second nature. But yeah, we can start wherever you want, from the Tyler Robinson case to
let's
other
talk
things
about
happening here on Capitol Hill.
Let's talk about this assassin quickly and the assassination. The main thing I think a lot of people are interested in, myself included. Are they going to aggressively see if there was more than one person involved?
Well, they are aggressively searching for that right now. That has been what FBI Director Kash Patel has been on top of in his statements, and also what local authorities have been on in their statements. But the news that we have at this time is that the authorities have still not found any definitive leads that show that there was prior knowledge by anyone other than the current suspect. And that's frustrating to a lot of people, in large part because we just know that there was so many, things, points of interest that popped up on social media right after the death of Charlie Kirk that began to show that there were people that had posted in the days before that they had expected that something might happen on September 10th. And those types of posts always are, very alarming and raise red flags. And immediately, it makes any reasonable person think that perhaps some other people had prior knowledge. But, sometimes whenever we have these events. There's occasionally there can be, a coincidence or something like that, or the fact that, there's people that just, there's a lot of people we've seen, celebrating the life of Charlie Kirk. But there's also, on the other side of it, there's people celebrating his death, and that is just abysmal. And the fact that there's so many people who have done that, it seems, in this country, it leads me in this direction that, it wouldn't surprise me if there was somebody who might have been preying on his downfall every day. There was that awful article about, somebody paid witches to hex him or something, just evil, demonic stuff. I mean, it's just crazy how many people on the left were, did not seem to have any sort of nice words for him. So, I mean, where we're standing at right now is that we don't know. But they are investigating leads. They are investigating that Discord chat with people that were in it, that were friends or acquaintances of Tyler Robinson. They are looking at every nook and cranny to make sure that there wasn't somebody else who was involved with this.
And I'll tell you, Kalen Deese, we're talking with Kalen Deese. He is the Department of Justice reporter at the Washington Examiner. Kalen, I feel comfortable between Patel and Bongino that we're going to get to the bottom of it. It may not be what we want to hear or what we suspect at the moment, but we're going to get a definitive answer. And let's go to another sort of point of interest. It was recently released. I'm not sure if this is under the auspices of Chuck Grassley, but it was the Senate Judiciary Committee that the DOJ was investigating all kinds of conservative groups actively, and Turning Point USA was just one of them.
Yeah, this is an extremely alarming piece of information that you're right. Senator Chuck Grassley did release, thanks to information that was handed to him by the FBI and by whistleblowers who supplied that to the FBI. But these whistleblower revelations are very concerning because it shows that Turning Point USA, Republican Attorneys General Association, the RNC, so many top of the line, people at the forefront of the Republican Party were being investigated, all because the Biden era DOJ was basically trying to put together, a list for that special counsel now in deep trouble, Jack Smith, basically for him to sort of serve as the teeing point for his criminal charges against Donald Trump. But what it really showed is it wasn't just an investigation against Donald Trump. It was an investigation against the entire Republican apparatus. And they were trying to suggest that maybe, this is going to help the prosecutions against Trump. But they went ahead and infringed on the rights of so many law-abiding groups, groups that had no allegations of wrongdoing whatsoever, that might have just merely supported Trump's presidency.
Yeah.
And it's just, what it is, Bob, is it is a predicate for the Trump administration to also do its own investigations into networks that they think that they've talked about could be sending money to groups that are agitators or causing violence in the streets. I think that it is absolutely a predicate because I don't think that it is, it even goes back to 2013 whenever you had, there were certain conservative nonprofits that were not, getting tax exempt status because, of biases and things like that. So, I mean, this is dating back to the Obama administration, this bias against right-wing groups. And I think that, like I said, if the Trump administration wanted to, subpoena records for, say, the Open Society Foundation, George Soros' network, I think that this is entirely a predicate to do so because, kind of the mode or the theme that Republicans are in is that, if we don't do something now, the Democrats are just going to, if they gain back power, then they're going to, hit back Trump's party just, even worse than it's been before. So it's like Republicans have to, show some accountability and say, if you're going to investigate our groups, then we're going to investigate your groups.
The left always accuses you of that which they are doing. Speaking of Grassley, what did he turn, 91, 92 this week or something? And
Yes, I saw that.
he came up with new FBI files on the Biden corruption allegations. And they really went in depth, particularly on Ukraine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that, the fact that he has been able to, maintain this supply of all these records over the years, like he is by far one of the, biggest workhorses there in Congress. And I will say, the Ukraine corruption information, there was new information related to, Hunter Biden's dealings with Burisma. That was something that, basically showed that there was more to all of the allegations that the Biden family was engaged in corruption. And it's something that definitely, I think that, he's just showing so many, he's moving like he's in his 50s, what can I say?
Yeah. Again, frightening when you think about these Bidens. And then finally, back to the Biden administration, Jeff Zients, a key figure in the administration. He was the COVID czar first and then became chief of staff to the president. He testified recently. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I saw Zients in the hallway yesterday. It was kind of interesting because he even bumped into Chairman James Comer there toward the end or there toward the beginning, and they did a little handshake exchange. But Zients, his testimony was the last testimony that they have scheduled right now, but it also wound up becoming what I believe is the most damning testimony against former President Joe Biden, simply on account of the number of contradictions that Zients made in his interview yesterday, according to a source that told me about the conversation. He said that he confirmed that Biden's memory, as we all know, did begin to show serious signs that even people in his own orbit couldn't ignore, the ways in which he was having to, go to, an additional meeting just to make sure that he knew something. Before it would have been 3 meetings. Zients said, well, we had to add a 4th meeting to make sure that, he had everything down. And the other thing, too, is that, with the corruption allegations about these pardons and things that happened at the end, like with the Anthony Fauci and for his son, Hunter Biden, we learned that Hunter Biden was sitting in on these pardon meetings. I mean, that's insane for him to be for him to receive the most charitable pardon and for him to actually be part of these discussions. It just reeks, Bob. It reeks.
These people are utterly insane. How do you keep your wits about you, Kalen Deese, when you're covering them?
Well, I think, to be honest, it's like, we've known, anyone who has had a level head about this has known for a long time that Joe Biden had serious problems and shouldn't have been president and shouldn't have run again for re-election. But it's interesting now to see how much of the Democratic apparatus is starting to show that the Republicans were right about that the whole time. It's almost becoming this point of, cross my fingers, and jump into the pool and hope that everyone, applauds for me. That's how Kamala Harris is handling this right now, because she seems to just be throwing her her former boss under the bus. And I think that that seems to be, like when we were talking about this back in 2024, everyone wanted so badly just to plug their ears and say la la la, I can't hear you.
Yep.
But it's just insane to see like how clear it was that everyone was on the same page, that there were so many people lying to themselves at that point. And I just pray to God that people can learn from the mistakes of this, that we never have another president like this in this situation again. With the way people, just, fold the partisanship, I maybe it's a little bit too hopeful, but there's so much that can be learned from all of this.
Kalen Deese covers the Justice Department for the Washington Examiner. Kalen, always a pleasure to have you on. We always learn something important. Appreciate it and look forward to the next time we get to speak with you.
Thank you, Bob. Have a great day.
Kalen Deese. We'll take a break. We'll be back. somehow we've still held on to our free speech. Thank God we've hung on to our free speech. We'll be back. Our veterans tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our friend John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Michael Canty, Army veteran who also worked for the Navy. He was from Bloomsburg. We lost him September 11th. Born in Marion, Indiana, raised in Horseheads, New York. Graduate of Horseheads High School and RPI in 1972 with a degree in aeronautical engineering. He was also a member of the school's ROTC. He spent 3 years as a lieutenant in the Army, serving primarily in Germany. He worked for and then retired from the federal government after 33 years, having worked for the Navy primarily at Patuxent Naval Air Station, Lexington Park, Maryland. In 2000, he married the love of his life, the former Lynn Hinderleiter. They had just celebrated their 25th anniversary. They retired to Bloomsburg in 2007. Faithful member of St. Matthew Lutheran Church. He'll be terribly missed by his wife, Lynn, his stepchildren, his grandchildren, 2 great-grandsons. Tragically, he was preceded in death by a grandson, Nathan. Michael Canty. David Graham, former telecommunications worker who loved farming. He was only 74 when we lost him September 12th. He was from Orangeville. David proudly served his country in the United States Air Force, the regular Air Force, where he received the National Defense Service Medal. Following this service, he was employed in telecommunications for many years. In his later years, he enjoyed helping his Amish friends farm. David's greatest joy came from spending time with his family, especially his grandchildren. He's survived by his stepdaughter, grandchildren. He was also blessed with great-grandchildren. David Graham will be remembered for his love of farming, his devotion to family. Our great veterans this hour. Brought to you by John Basiliga. And when you mention the weekend, you've got to think Basiliga Hospitality. 3 great bar restaurants. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. Cutie was there last night. Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. You will be amazed at the new Queen City Tavern. Scranton Art House, downtown Scranton, Lackawanna Avenue. They had the Eagles-Chiefs game, and I heard it was a smashing success last Sunday. Sergei's, the nightclub in Northeast Pennsylvania. And then fine dining without parallel. Atera 519, downtown Scranton, low-key Manhattan, as class as it can get. I'll be there this weekend. And the Stegmeyer Mansion, Old World, and more. I was there last weekend. Loved it. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and breezy, 76 degrees. We're at about 70 now. Tonight, clear and cooler, low 48. Saturday, mostly sunny, 76. Sunday, mostly sunny, 73 degrees. All right. Well, we're talking about Johnny Basiliga and his places. Well, one of the things he owns is the marketplace of Steamtown, the old Steamtown Mall. And it's hopping. And there's things happening there, and I just love it there. And Kristen Powers is on the blower to talk about what they're doing tomorrow. Kristen, how are you? Welcome back to the show.
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Tell us what's happening tomorrow starting at 11, right?
Yep. So tomorrow at Scranton Public Market, which is located on the second floor of the marketplace at Steamtown, We will kick off the day at 11 a.m. with rooftop yoga by Mindy Hill. And then from 12 to 5, we will have a pop-up market that's called Farmers, Bakers, and Makers Market inside with over 30 vendors.
Farmers, Bakers, and Makers. Did you make that up?
Yeah, you know what? I felt like if I just called it Farmers, they would only think it's produce. So I felt like I had to get it all in there in the title.
That's really cool. Farmers, Bakers, and Makers. All right, so Kristen, you're kicking off with yoga out on the roof.
Yep. So the roof located on the bus station side of the marketplace at Steamtown. So more towards Mifflin, not North Washington.
Toward the west side, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, this is exciting. You got about 30 vendors doing this. So there's the regular mall activity with the aquarium and Crunch Fitness and Boscov's and a bunch of great stores. With the library store, a great bookstore, the Lackawanna County Library Store. So much available there, and this is even more. You're really adding to it.
Yes, for sure. So there's some anchor vendors that are there daily in Scranton Public Market. So if you work downtown or you're just enjoying the day down there, you can stop in for lunch at any time. And then once a month, we'll be having these pop-ups where the entire space is filled with a bunch of vendors from restaurants, breweries, wineries, candle makers, bakers, treats and cookies and pies. You name it, it will be there.
And Kristen, it's going to be alive with music as well.
Yes, so we'll have music all day. The first person is Greg Condra, and then it's followed by Jim Cullen and Susie Rawan. And if you want to make a request, I'm sure that they will happily take them.
Yeah, how great. Kristen Powers, the pop-up market at the marketplace at Steamtown, another great event tomorrow, 11 to 5?
Yep, 11 to 5. And I do want to add that we will validate your parking, so parking will be free.
All right. And by the way, that's not the case in the rest of the downtown, so it'll be convenient.
You're right, so come on over.
Yeah, convenient and free. Thank you, Kristen Powers. Appreciate it. Marketplace in Steamtown, the pop-up markets, it went well last month. Another event this month. All right. Let's go to the blower. Razor, you've been very patient. How are you?
Good. How are you, Bob? All right. So I want to talk about this nonsense with Kimmel and then with Congress. So the reason he feels he can make up a lie that is provably wrong by the time he even said it, and why Congress can call something censorship when really all it is an employee-employer situation, is because the left and the left has always relied on their followers to be ignorant. And it's provable because the press will not tell. Everything that Fox News follows, I have people that watch ABC, all of the mainstream press, they don't know what's going on.
No, they don't.
They don't. So, and the left is playing their followers for. If I was a Democrat, I'd be so damn insulted that if I turned on one station and saw what was really happening in the world, and I turned on what I usually listen to and don't even hear about it, I'd be insulted. They're playing their followers as fools. And you know what? The fools don't care. Everything these people do is fodder for their base.
Razor, that's the one thing I don't understand is how people allow themselves to become Democrats. Now, if you don't care, that's fine. But if you, and by the way, it's everybody's right to not care about politics and these issues. But when you profess to care and you base your opinion on easily discoverable lies from the same people who've been lying to you about everything, more revelations about Joe Biden coming out, for example, that these Democrats and Biden supporters and Trump haters all ignored while they were happening. And now I'm going to believe them this time? I don't get it. I don't get it.
In my travels, I see hundreds of people a year, probably more than that. And I've run into mostly what you find of people that are, I'll call them ignorant, not being mean. They just don't pay attention to politics.
That's fine.
So they don't know.
Well, no big deal.
And then you've got the other ones that are rabid. They yell they scream in your face, "Oh my God, you see what Trump is saying?" And they don't really know exactly the history of what's been going on, but they don't care. And if you tell them, they don't care. They just are so anti-Republican, and that's been for years, that they do not listen to the truth.
So, but then Chuck Schumer, who's been caught in lie after lie after lie, hypocrisy after hypocrisy after hypocrisy, whether it's political violence, Medicare, Medicaid cuts, it doesn't matter. He's just a lying scumbag. And they're going to believe him again when they say Trump is attacking free speech. Yeah. Free speech. Trump didn't even, he's criticizing with his own free speech. He's criticizing a guy who hated free speech. Jimmy Kimmel did not have, nor Colbert, did they have any conservatives, any Republicans, politicians, book writers, actors, anybody on any of their shows. They didn't allow free speech.
Yeah. Now, how about they're talking about that they're not letting Jimmy Kimmel say his piece. What about when Roseanne Barr was kicked off her own show?
Nobody cared. They thought that was normal. Yeah. Well,
and
no. How about when Tucker
Carlson
when Tucker Carlson lost his show, Jimmy Kimmel was a cheerleader for him getting fired.
All of it. All of it. But it's plain and simple to people who pay attention and care. But when you're a rabid dog that all you care about is food, fodder to feed your hate of Republicans, that's all you're going to get. That's why these people can say anything they want. And the press still acts like people are stupid. That's the problem. You know how different this country would be if the press really straightened out and told the truth? How different would that be? And it's getting there because Fox is number one in everything anymore.
Yeah.
But there's still so many more. Half the country still doesn't listen to the Fox.
Well, I think it's less than. I'll say this, though. I think the percentage that is falling for this nonsense, and I'm not talking about the people who are getting something from the Democrat and the big government and all of that. They're 20%. That's what they are. But I think the percentage is sinking below 50%. Because people are starting to get all this insanity.
Well, it was proven in the election alone, for Trump. All the blacks, the Hispanics, those percentages flew up for him.
Yep.
Believe me, what's happened ever since, these Democrat politicians are showing how crazy they are. The nonsense, putting on a hat, the Jimmy Kimmel show. And then that Waltz jogging
Lord.
and saying, "Oh, I'm jogging, but I'm also running for." Like, give me a break. This is nonsense, bullcrap. It's bullcrap. It's like something that kids would do in junior high school.
I know.
All right, so they're
not
like
that bright. They're not that bright, Razor. That's what we got to remember.
All those numbers are going to go flying up for us because of what's happened since the election.
I hope so. Thank you, Razor. Appreciate it. Tom from Kingston. How are you, Tom?
Good morning, Bob. Earlier in your program, you had led off almost with a story about Jerry Greenfield.
Yeah, I saved an article that reminded me of what an idiot he is. Yeah.
Well, I want to correct you.
Okay.
Have you ever met Jerry?
No.
I have. In fact, when I closed the digital.
By the way, I didn't say he wasn't a nice guy that you like to kid around with. I didn't say that.
No, not at all. He's kind of a serious guy. I know him. In fact, when I closed the digital plant, Jerry took over my office. It's a very small world.
Yeah.
And I was going to be a wise ass early in the program, but I couldn't get through. How many people have given presentations to, let's see, U of R and Wilkes University's MBA school, and et cetera, he's no dummy. Okay, just because his partner was Ben Cohen, okay, who you might consider schizo, doesn't make him stupid at all.
Oh, their political opinions are so stupid that they have to be.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I know,
but Tom, if you're not, but remember the point. If you believe what they believe and what they espouse, Ben and Jerry, you can't be that bright. You can't be.
No, see, that's where I hate to say it, because you're rarely wrong, but you are. See, intelligence and politics are not really related that well. Okay?
I disagree firmly with you on that.
There are a few Democrats. For example, the person who holds more patents than anybody in the history of planet Earth is a Democrat. Now, does that make them stupid?
No. What they espouse makes them stupid.
Bingo.
Not their political party.
Okay? A political party is just a convenience for grouping. That's all it is. We're spending way too much time with politics.
Tom, all right, but let's reverse the question. Tom, if I believe that socialism, now number one, I'm a multimillionaire capitalist, but I believe that socialism works, that communism works. I've got to be pretty dumb and willfully ignorant. There's no way around that.
You can be smart but be stupid at the same time.
Yes.
I basically judgmentally flawed.
Yes.
You got to remember that most of people's development is caused between the ages of 2 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it takes. Why do you think that 80% of people under the age of 24 are liberal, and then when they get to the age 60, they get smart?
Experience, among other things.
Correct. Now, a lot of people can have experience.
But how does that make Jerry, or Ben, for that matter, from Ben and Jerry's? How does again?
You have to separate the viewpoint from the intelligence.
I don't know how you can. If
you
you've developed a viewpoint which is objectively idiotic, that socialism is the route to go and that it works and that it will work in this country, and these Democrat policies of the open border, of no bail, you cannot be that bright. You just can't be.
No, they're just uneducated. And inexperienced.
You're being far too generous.
Give the morons a break. Give them an opportunity to become Republican.
Oh, they've got plenty of opportunity. They're not going to take it.
No, they don't. People got to remember, especially if they went to parochial school, heck, they got no chance. I mean,
well,
I probably hell. You might have had me at one of your processes at U of R.
Yeah, that's right.
And there were some people that I know that you had in your.
Tom, we have to go. I apologize. Hard break for Bloomberg, but thank you.
But,
Make sure you keep in touch.
Gotta
We'll be back. It's 11:50 on the nose. We're going to finish with Touch of Grey. Had so many great songs to choose from. Grateful Dead had their only career top 10 charts hit with Touch of Grey, this date 1987. I remember Fred Imus told the joke in the old days when I had the Imus show on my stations. He said, you hear what the one Grateful Dead fan said to the other when they ran out of pot? He said, this music really sucks. But this is one of their betters. By the way, one of our great listeners watching South Park, and I agree with you, that's comedy. They attack everybody. That's actual comedy. They don't hate anybody. They heap scorn on everybody. South Park, great comedy. My friend Big Cat letting us know, no coverage on the Minnesota deal because we've got a left-wing shooter and Catholic victims, a left-wing transgender shooter. And he also points out Kimmel had free speech. His employer canceled him, which is their right. And he still has free speech. Nobody took it away. My word. Look at, if you follow Chuck Schumer, you're going to sound stupid because he is a complete phony idiot. By the way, my man, Alan Goldstein, he wrote into the editor of the Scranton Times, Larry Haliva. I'm sure you're aware of the strong negative public response to Chris Kelly's article about Charlie Kirk and what was nothing less than character assassination. Across the country, media and business are firing people for less. Interesting how Democrats can be corrupt and do treason, and Mr. Kelly has nothing to say about that. Alan continues, it's time to clean house. Mr. Kelly should be immediately shown the door. Don't you check his column before it's published? All Mr. Kelly had to say was that he disagrees with Charlie Kirk. Good enough. Take a look at places like Facebook with people wanting to picket the Times and others no longer subscribing. Yep, you got it. Hey, two quick items as Touch of Grey plays on. Policeman's prayer. Think about our cops over the weekend, especially with the brutal week we had. Policeman's prayer sent to me by Nikki DeSando. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge, protect them from harm, always keep them safe and in your loving arms. And then Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma Cornett Merrick. Found it in the obit for the lovely Doreen Goriab. This just reminds us, reach out to people you're friends with, to loved ones. You may not see them again. And man, after Charlie, you know it's true. If I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say, I love you, instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, young or old alike, and today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. Have a great weekend, guys. God willing, I'll be with you Monday morning, but Sue Henry's coming up next, Rob O'Donnell after that. And I've got to say, adios and gavel this meeting of the Club for Common Sense to a close. Have a great weekend.